Who am I supposed to trust when everyone sees me as a means to their ends? Where am I supposed to go when I don't exist? How do I know where I belong when I don't even know who I am? I have no real name. I'm just a number to them, a weapon, a pawn in a war I don't want to be involved in. Division M and the Prime Syndicate are two sides of the same coin. They exist because of each other. I exist because of them. I was supposed to be a solution, a way towards peace. But I'm just another problem, a liability, a mistake. I have more enemies than I can count. What am I supposed to do? I can't do this alone. I need friends.
Woohoo! Here we are, guys. Yes, a drink with Brink on a Thursday. Why on a Thursday? Because too many people want to be on the show, and I want to have them all on. So once a week, it's not really doable. So I decided let's throw in an extra episode today, because today we have this cool guest with a cool comic book, a cool campaign, and we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that, guys. So, Perfect 10 issue 3 is going strong. It's we launched last Friday morning, and we are doing great. We went over 7,000 euros today with 123 backers, and I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you so much. This is amazing. Okay, let's see who's here, man. Hey, Dr. Ino's here. Hey, welcome, Dr. Ino. How are you doing? And then we have Camila Wallace, like number one, live in 2 hours. Oh, this was 2 hours ago. Okay, Camila Wallace. Jack Irons also got a St. Benedict medal from me a long time ago. Okay, yeah. Perfect 10 got one also. That's great, man. That's great. Okay. Oh, hey. Okay. So let's just bring our guest on and talk about his coolness. Let's see. Here we go. Here is Mr. Cody Fernandez.
Ooh, thank you. I love the ovation there. I love the intro. That's great.
Yes. They're always very, very enthusiastic.
Yes, and I love that enthusiasm. So I hope you folks are doing well.
Yeah, we're doing fine. We're doing great. So how many cats do you have?
One.
One.
This is cat. Yeah, this old lady here. She's about 17 now. Old lady. And there's a dog that might pop in here.
Yeah,
here and there.
I saw the dog. You have a very fun space there with all your stuff and the animals, and I can imagine you're there all day.
Oh, a good chunk of the time I am. That is for certain. We got a nice space up here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm up in the Southern Rockies in northern New Mexico, and I'm outside a good chunk of time as well. It's beautiful up here.
Right. Let me see. I prepared a banner. I prepared a ticker. Here we go. Ooh, here we go. Ticker. It's
look at that.
It's almost professional here, man. Almost.
All right. Yeah.
So cool, man. Yeah. I know about your comic. I know about Jack Irons. I've seen it before, because you're not very new to this little industry. You've made at least 4 books that I know of. So talk a little bit about yourself for people who don't know you. Who is Cody?
Hi. Well, I'm Cody Fernandez. I've done a lot of different roles in my life, but comics has been a calling for quite some time. In particular, Jack Irons, the Steel Cowboy here, has been for quite some time. It was kind of an important developmental step for me, and you can even call it a coping mechanism almost with increased knowledge of the human experience and history and all of that as you go from the naivety of childhood to a greater awareness going into your teens and adulthood. Um, and I work with animals. That's probably why you'll see quite a few around me
So
here and there.
you work with animals.
Yes, I do a lot of different roles at a pet care resort. Sometimes it's long-term care for elder animals. Sometimes it's dog play groups, up to like 25 dogs at a time. A lot of different things like that. But that's the other end of my life that's quite fulfilling.
Wow, that
But
sounds like the best job ever.
it
Apart
can be
from
right.
creating comics, of course.
Yes, exactly. It's those two, right? It's in competition, and they both pay about the same.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
But nonetheless, it takes care of me, and these are both like major callings, and comics. For it has been a big one for me for a long time because I saw it could do things. It was a medium that could do things no other medium could do, and once I knew that, saw that, and experienced that, I was hooked, and I'm in it for the long haul.
That's great to hear, man. Let's say hi to Solid Halon. Solid Halon. Hey, welcome. New to the show. Welcome. Barrett X is here. Welcome, Barrett. Dojo Kun. Hey, Brian. Raising the bar on professionalism every day. Bow. I try. I try. And Cody is good people. Yes.
Thank you,
So far,
Dojo
so
Kun.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So far, good. I'm glad. Don't judge me right off the bat. You never know who I am, right?
So yeah. So you loved comics. You loved reading
Yes.
comics. So what
Yes.
was it that made you want to produce one?
So it was kind of it. So comics are kind of like a natural evolution from like children's books and stuff as you're learning reading, and I took a break from that for a good chunk of time, and then I came into the space when I saw certain stories and ideas being presented in the medium that weren't being done anywhere else. Ideas like Ghost Rider, Punisher, and there's a particular run of Ghost Rider called Road to Damnation by Garth Ennis and Clayton Crane, and having gotten a hold of that, read it, saw it, his digital Clayton Crane's digital artwork was something I had never seen something so cool at that time in my life. Just
Mm,
nothing compared to it,
mm.
and that just blew me away. And that's what like opened my eyes to the possibilities in comics. And then once I knew what the possibilities and the skies being the limit, and not even really a limit there. That then I was hooked. The unlimited potential, the lack of rigid structure to even go through and construct a comic. Super intriguing. Once I knew the possibilities and how open it was the most inviting medium for me. I had written plays and other things that were very much scripting like that. I was never a big fan of long form writing, just because for me I end up feeling like you're wasting a lot of time, both your time and the reader's time, just to kind of fill in space. And so I always kept to mainly short stories and that kind of writing. But
Oh,
eventually, I preferred just the basic, setup, action, and this is what's happening, and then dialogue, and then that conveys the emotional tone of it enough for me to enjoy the writing process. And then if you have a wonderful artist like I've been privileged to work with Maximiliano Dallo, then that whole process becomes just a whole nother layer of magic on top of it, where they can interpret and just that collaborative artistry. That was just a whole nother layer that I just was beautiful to experience, and I've fallen in love with.
right, right. Um, Barrett X says, I back Perfect 10 issue 3. I'm getting 2, 3 in crossroads. Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barrett. That's excellent. That's excellent. Um, Okay, so you decided to make your own comic book. You where did you find your artist? How did you connect with him?
Oh, that's a fun story. Okay, so when you're getting into comics, a lot of people have no idea how to do it. The number one tip that will hold true is that if you're trying to break into comics or whatever, the only way is to make comics, and that tends to not be that helpful to somebody who doesn't even know where to really start. It was nice to find out that there wasn't really any rigid scripting methods or templates. So that was nice for me. So I could start at least at that level just myself. But eventually, I had a loss in my life that gave me a little bit of cash and not much. And I wanted to do something positive with that energy. And I was like, well, I've been holding on to these scripts and this idea for years and years. Maybe I try and take the next step and see if there's somebody who wants to help me do it. Because I've tried drawing, I've tried those things, and maybe if I had the discipline, I could be decent, but I don't have the discipline to stick with that kind of artistry. I paint a bit more. That's a little bit easier on me.
Mm.
But there's just that desire to try and move that idea forward because it meant a lot to me during a hard time. And so I go looking, and of course you try the internet is the best place to try and find something. And I connected with one or two artists, and they ended up ghosting me and not telling me what was like why they weren't interested in the project, or like what I could do to maybe pitch it to another artist better, or what would be like a base standard like expectations for them. They would just go quiet. They wouldn't even like continue a conversation.
Mm.
So that was
Yeah.
disheartening. And then
Yeah.
eventually after that, I was like, okay, well that's not going to work. I'm up in a wonderful artistic kind of area of the country, and kind of quite a few towns and cities around here are very art and tourism based. And so I was like, okay, well let's try more local because then I can at least break bread with somebody and have a conversation, and at the very least I'll learn something. So that's what I did, and I posted on Craigslist looking for somebody around in the area to meet and do that.
Oh,
And
really?
this wonderful Argentine artist Maximiliano Dallo, he comes up to this area because he has family in a few of the towns and areas around me, and he saw the ad. Argentina doesn't have much of a it doesn't have a comic book industry, just straight. It doesn't have one. It has a small children's book industry, and that's what he was doing. That's what he came up in. So he had wonderful illustrations and watercolors and stuff. And he for a young man, he was 2 years younger at me at that time. I think he was about 21 at that time. He was also
Wow.
teaching art down there. So he was up here. He wanted another gig, and we met. I came in with my really rough scripts. He came in with his beautiful portfolio, and we kind of chatted and felt each other out to see kind of what we wanted to do and what we thought we could do with this. And we hit it off. And he was interested in the work, and we've
Mm.
been working together for about the last 7 years since.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Hey, Dean. Good day. Good day. Welcome, man. Yeah. The first few years, maybe, for making comics, it's mostly networking and finding the right people to work with. Um, but once you have that solid team, that team you can build on and can trust, and then it's a cool process. It's
Oh
it's a
yeah,
very cool process. Yeah.
it's wonderful. And then the next steps of that, like finding the rapport, like how as a writer, like what level of detail or um, how heavy of a hand you need to get the results you want from the artist. In my case, it is nearly hands off because he always is able to take my ideas and my storylines and he's the real storyteller of our first comics. If I'm being 100% honest, how he's able to structure things and often restructure things so that the pacing and the vibes and the ideas we're trying to communicate actually can resonate and be flowing is just an incredible like that. I am in awe every time he delivers a page because of
Yeah,
that.
that's amazing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that part of it
Miss
just wonderful.
Miss H came in just now. Welcome, Miss H. She says she came in time for the origin story of Ironverse.
Yes, you did,
And
Miss. And thank you for stopping by. If you ever catch our advertising for that has animations in it, she's the wonderful lady who makes those happen.
oh, she does the animations. I
Yes,
saw
she
them.
takes our panels and
I saw
yeah,
some
it's
today
cool.
on your Twitter. I was like,
Yes,
man, that is cool. That
yes,
is
she's
cool.
wonderful, wonderful person. She works a lot in my little corner of indie, and just a great lady.
Yeah, excellent, man. Barrett X is writing a novel and wants to turn it into a graphic novel if I ever finish it. Yeah, finishing stuff. That's the real challenge. So many people can start projects, but finishing it that's yeah. Okay, this is great, man.
Thank you.
Um, we can just bring up your campaign, see what it looks like, and you can talk
Wonderful.
about your creation. Uh, I think most of us have seen it around. Uh, Share the screen. Oh,
Oh, it'll
there we
come.
go.
Yeah, all
There we
right.
go. Look at that pretty page. So, this is your fourth book, or did you make other books before this one?
This is the fourth book. Issue one, I did out of my own pocket from that encounter with Maxie at a price that no comic artist should ever work on. I still don't know why he took the gig. Maybe he just needed the money at that time. Maybe he liked me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask him sometime. But nonetheless, we had that. We had the line artistry done, and then in 2018, I finally bit the bullet and joined social media. And it was at a time where indie comics awareness was kind of at a high. People were really kind of looking for alternatives and different kinds of
Hmm.
stories to be told. And I
Right.
happened to be in the right place at the right time with a good story. And that's how we found our colorist, was through promoting the black and white line work. The original letterer, I found him through that as well because I can't letter, but I thought I could. And he told me I can't letter. Please let me letter. So I basically all been from that initial bit, and we funded issue two. I found a publisher through there who allowed me to produce the physical copies, and then issue three's campaign was a crazy wild ride where we got the last 4K of our funding the final day on a 10K goal. It was just insanity, and it's just been a wild ride of learning and adapting and growth. And it's just been an incredible privilege that folks like yourself and your chat have allowed us to do, because it's basically been 100% crowdfunded. We've had no like outside investing on that case. It's definitely a collaborative effort, not in only the story and the production, but in how the production happens and why it has an audience, and honestly even the story we're trying to tell.
Right. So you're still with this publisher you mentioned.
Yes, Wicked Publishing. They found us during that campaign. They're a small grassroots publisher out of California,
Mhm.
Northern California, if I remember right. And they've handled our fulfillment globally pretty goddamn well for, again, just two guys basically out of their homes. They support a bunch of other. I think there's like 16 other titles under their banner as well.
What's
Um,
their name?
Wicked Publishing, WIKID in particular.
Wicked.
They might need to change that branding. There's a few other Wicked publishers that
Wicked.
are
Yeah, yeah.
of a different persuasion, different flavor, let's just say.
Right,
Uh,
right,
and so that's not always the best for branding. Hey,
right.
you. Yarr. Um, and so yeah, but it's been a wonderful, like, that was another learning thing. I mean, I spent 4 months haggling with them over the contract, feeling them out. Like, that's a really important thing with making comics, especially when you get into the legal bits, is making sure you feel each other out and you each know what the expectations are and you know what kind of needs to be done. Because if you don't do that, I've seen so many, like you said, getting a project to the finish, I've seen so many projects fall apart because of unreal expectations that weren't discussed, or scheduling conflicts that weren't discussed, or just all these different
Right.
really easy to slip up on kind of mistakes. And you got to be careful and make sure you work with the right people. It's super important to do that. Otherwise, you can get really soured on this already difficult enough industry.
This is true, man. And with every new project, with every new book, you learn new things, and every time you come across new challenges. Uh, So you really know that you have to be certain that this is what you want to do. It's the passion that pulls you through it. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So what are your biggest challenges while making comic books?
It's funding, number one. I mean, that's this big challenge in arts, right? Is funding usually, but beyond that, like we've hit a few stumbles. We've had to we between issue 1 and 2, our colorist, our original colorist, the one who found us and did page 3 of Jack, just kind of a fan art. I don't even think he wanted to work on the book. He's just like, look at this, I love this page, I wanted to color it as practice, here you go. And then I contacted him, I was like, do you actually want to work on this book? I'll make it a stretch goal. And yeah, we did, he did, and we got issue 1 colored, finished, all of that. But in between 1 and 2, he had to leave comics because it just was not feeding his family, and he had another
Yeah.
option at a more
Mhm.
stable gig. And I mean, he was working for Boom, he was working for IDW, like he was doing work, he was a professional
Mhm.
comic artist, and it still just was not enough to take care of his family. He was
No.
out of Spain. Matthias Laborde, still an incredible talent. It was a loss for the comic industry when he had to step away. Beautiful coloring. But from there, finding another team member who could fill those shoes and provide a stylistic approach that was similar, but not, we were never going to get the same. That's just not, it's how it works in the arts. You're never going to
Right.
get the same fingerprint, but you are, we wanted it not to be this massive jarring shift in between the issues. And we were able to succeed by finding Steve Cannon, a wonderful talent out of California. People might know his work through the Kill Journal that was released recently. He did that as well as our issue 2 and 3. Um,
Right.
and now he's working on a monthly for Scout called By the Horns, and of course he's doing Jack 4. Um, just amazing talent. But it was nice because between issue 1 and 2, it took a very long time. I tried to market issue number 1, or market pitch issue number 1 to publishers for about 3 years after like the line art and my very bad lettering was done, and no response. I got one response from a small publisher outside of England who's like, I enjoyed the read, but it's not what we publish. But I mean, this was like to everybody. I must have sent 25 pitches or something, and one guy took the time to say, well, thank you at least, and it's not for us.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
gave
Yeah.
me closure, right?
Right.
That was nice. So that was part of the trial of learning. Like, well, I'm going to have to crowdfund this if I want to make more. That's just how this
Yeah.
industry is working right now. And
Yep.
so I took that dive and found the other teammates and all of that. But that time period between, again, it was a 21-year-old Maxi making issue number 1, and then it was about a 25-year-old Maxi making issue 2. So not only did the line work change between 1 and 2, but it kind of allowed the colors to also change between 1 and 2, and it not feel this super jarring, because basically the whole thing changed, but still had the same flavor and soul and spirit to
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
That was very lucky in a lot of ways. It's particularly that we didn't have to shift line artists, because that can be very jarring.
Yes. Yes. Of course.
Mid-series.
Let me say hi to Pops. Hey, Pops. Welcome,
Pops.
man. Yeah. So basically, the entire team progressed along with the book and the storytelling,
Yes.
and every issue got better than the previous one.
Yep.
That that's great. That's great, man.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I think. I think issue 4 is going to be our best effort ever. It's definitely an evolution of my storytelling.
So
Um,
so
yeah.
are these issues self-contained, or is it one longer story?
It's my best attempt at balancing those two.
Mm.
So if you were to just pick up issue 2 or just pick up issue 3, I think you will get a satisfying beginning to end tale.
Yeah.
But if you had picked up the previous issues, you'll have a lot more history and flavor, and an idea of the greater machinations that are going on. Um, and it does build, but we're doing that for every issue. At least I'm doing that for every issue, where you can pick it up, the story is within that issue. You will get an arc, you will get a concept explored to completion, but
Yeah.
it builds upon the history, and it will build upon the path Jack's walking.
Excellent. Okay. Shall we take a look at your trailer?
Sure, I cringe every time I look at it, and some people like it. Most people are very polite about it, but yeah, no, please do. Let's
Okay.
see.
First, say hi to Darkside. Hey, Darkside. Welcome, man.
Dark Side.
Okay, let's take a look.
Howdy, folks. Cody here with Ironverse Comics. Proud to bring you yet another entry into our little galactic Armageddon. Jack Irons is a reincarnated immortal, a man trapped in time, and facing the evils his reality has manifested in a search for freedom and purpose. In issues 1 through 3, we introduce you to the man, the history, and the world. And with issue number 4, we head directly into hell. Jack chases his friend into corporate hell, hoping to find out why, after nearly a century, the legendary tracker, Earth's top predator, has reconnected with him. On this journey, Jack will discover that the depths of suffering run deep, but that attitude and understanding will carry you far through them. Issue number 4 is a 48-page floppy comic, in tradition with issues 2 and 3, so there'll be plenty of meaty content to wander through and explore, featuring incredible artistry from the Ironverse Comics team and fantastic pinups from the indie comics community. You'll find out, alongside Jack, what Famine Inc. really is in our first wanderings into the Four Horsemen's territory. It'll contain our trademark satire, humor, and empathy, and, as is tradition, will be self-contained, but will build upon the works we've already released. With a degree of quality and a heart that is difficult to find these days, we march forward, confident that the work will find those it needs to. I truly hope you'll join us in continuing to make Galactic Armageddon something worth fighting for.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice. Yes. Nice. That art style is pretty interesting. With the little squiggly lines and it's a bit rough, but
Yes.
it brings a certain life to the experience.
Yeah, no, I would agree
Bristolian
100%.
Davis here. All right, me babbers. Hey, Dave.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a cool style, man. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, he works. He works about 98% traditionally too. So that is ink on paper. I think he
Right.
does a little bit of the ink cleanup digitally, just out of time saving. And sometimes there's a couple digital tricks he's done on a few pages where he messed something up and needed to replace something, or wanted to bring a character into the foreground that he had put into the background, things like that. But
Right.
pretty much all traditional. And we've sold. It's the first time we've offered those original pages on a campaign, and we have sold out of them. So that was quite nice
Whoa.
to see how quickly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, the first question that comes to mind when I see this, I see you have you have a fixed goal, and it's pretty high. It's
Yes.
pretty high goal. So my question is, why did you put it this high and fixed it? And what happens if you don't make it?
Wonderful questions. So the goal is that high because we pay our artists. That is that is the fact. In fact, I don't get paid for these campaigns at all when I'm budgeting. I'm
Mhm.
lucky if I do through the royalties of sales later through the publisher
Right.
or through Patreon, things like that.
Right. This is the least you need to fund the book.
Exactly. It's
Right.
everything it costs to fund the book, from shipping, printing, and even then I invested already about a good chunk of change into it to bring that goal lower.
Like
Last
dollar
campaign,
coins sets, it costs a lot.
that's my wonderful co-editor over at Ironverse Comics. He has his own series
Right.
under our imprint. He works more in the manga space and call him a mangaka, but he it's very true because it costs a lot. He knows.
Yes,
He knows.
I know. Welcome, dollar coins. Welcome. Yeah. Okay. So what happens when you don't meet the goal? God forbid,
Well,
right?
Yeah,
Never
right.
know.
So far we've been lucky in all the main campaigns. They have somehow pulled it through. Again, that last campaign for issue 3, I launched it before, just like weeks before, like the pandemic hit its main thing, and everybody wanted to close, and people were out of work, all that. So that was fun. Then the last week we were running. Uh, it was tough. It was tough watching because we were only about 50% there, and
Mm,
then 60% there. And then the final 2 days, the community was like, "We need to make this happen." And I saw an incredible upswelling of support, and it was just so heartening. And we funded. Um,
excellent.
so I don't want that journey again. I don't think we can pull off another miracle like that. So
Yeah,
it would
it's
be
nerve
great.
wracking, man.
Yeah, it would be great to get this consistent support that we've been getting and keep it going till it's
Hmm.
funded. But if we don't fund, Maxie insisted because of what his schedule is with his work, that he produces the page now while he has the pages now while he has time and just holds on to them. So I've put in a good chunk of change to cover the first like 10 pages already, but if we don't fund, I'm running the campaign right again, because the pages will be made and there's no reason not to.
Right.
And of course, the goal will be lower at that point because I have put more money into it myself. So that's kind of what the goal is to run it until it funds and just keep plucking away at the cost. And of course, since the pages will be done, our production time will be much quicker than our previous production times.
Okay. Okay. I gotta say, man, the quality of everything involved, the production quality is very high.
Thank
Like
you.
you have here the logo. This looks great, man. So who produced the logo for you?
So that original top logo there, I ran a logo contest when we were running the
Oh.
first. The first campaign was crazy. The first campaign was insane. Again, I just wanted to fund digital line art with the first, digital copies of the line art. Would have been physical line art because of Maxi, but
Mm.
I just wanted to fund the line art for issue number 2, and then that campaign gained a lot of steam, and we met folks, and I just took opportunities I saw, and then once I knew we were actually going to print and physically manifest an issue, then I started looking for folks who knew certain aspects of that graphic design and whatnot. And one of the things I did was run a logo contest around the community. It gave folks an ability to interact with our work and maybe get a paycheck and a steady gig. That one was by a certain individual who no longer does logos or much comic work at all. And the comic industry, he was another person who got soured by the comic industry eventually.
Oh
But
yeah,
he went
that
by the
happens.
moniker yeah, he went by
Yeah.
the moniker Zero Fox,
Right.
Fawkes. And so he gave us all the logo, original logo stuff. And you'll see on the covers, those new covers, we
Yep.
have a new graphic designer named Nico Buffalo. Nico Buffo. He's also Argentinian. Maxi knows him from other work, and so he adapted a cleaner version of our logo, so it doesn't have the horse and Jack tearing it. It doesn't have the fire. It doesn't have the iron kind of stuff. That logo is great by itself. The one up top there, that's why it's like that. But on a on a cover, it can be a little distracting, a little overbearing,
Yes.
and so Nico
Yes.
was able to clean that up and give us like our trade dress setup, and I think it's quite nice, and that's the trade dress setup we're going with till we are done.
Yeah. And these covers also. When you, I take it this is issue 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So
Yes.
if you put them together, you get these various color sets and atmospheres. That's well done. It's well
Oh,
done, man.
thank you. Yeah, no, that's a great team. Um, Issue 1 and 2 there are actually variant covers. Our original covers are these guys right here that we did, and again, we did print that original logo on it. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Those are
Oh
the
yeah.
original covers we did. In fact, we've done a reprint through the publisher that now uses the new trade dress. Um,
Right.
but with those, my original intent, we don't want to do variant line artists. A big part of my creative bit and just giving the interior artist kind of the final say is that I want him to, we do our covers at the end of the production so it can summarize or symbolize the issue you're getting on the
Yeah.
inside.
Hmm.
When we were doing the variants again, he reworked it and was able to deliver that again. So of course he's the line artist on our variants, but I wanted to do color variations. And
Hmm.
issue number 1, we had a wonderful colorist attached, but the pandemic changed that that a bit, and it just didn't. The timing just didn't work out, which was too bad. But so we ended up. Stephen Cannon ended up coloring it, which he didn't end up coloring the original #1's cover. So it was kind of it still was kind of neat. And then issue 2 was covered by a wonderful lady named Raven Monroe, so, and you can't really, she was able to keep the vibe that we're going for. So it was very, Jack's got a very good flavor that people are easily able to work within, even if they're like just doing it for a single gig or not, which has been really nice.
Right. Good stuff, man. For a first time creator, you come out of the gate swinging, man. This is
Yes.
professional as fuck, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this art, man. This is phenomenal. This is absolutely fantastic.
That was the panel to hook people to get issue #4.
Yeah.
With issue 1, 2, and 3. Issue 1, we kind of explore Jack's mind and his character. Issue 2, we kind of lay the world out for you and the history. And then issue 3, we went into his more personal histories and get him going on the journey. Issue 4, we're starting that journey, and that was one of the last bits of issue 3 to kind of show you the first steps into the more how would I say it? Almost extra dimensional sense when you step outside of the boundaries of what we call New Deadwood and go into the Four Horsemen's realms.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that this world that this story takes place in.
Absolutely. So Ironverse Comics is built on 4 pillars. Technically, there's a 5th, and I'll talk about that. But on 4 pillars, which are the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. These the concepts people will be familiar with, correct? But how we're doing it is almost more, and somebody kind of reminded me, it's almost more Lovecraftian, where they're extra dimensional gods trying to break into reality, and they've succeeded on Earth in a very unique way, where all 4 of them manifested and actually hit a equilibrium, hit a balance, a stalemate. Which is rare in Ironverse Comics, the greater galaxy, as it were, and that's why I call it Galactic Armageddon. They tend to, one of the horsemen tends to take over a planet, take over something, and then join its greater cosmic self, and perpetuate itself in a greater cosmic war that's going on. That 5th pillar I talked about is the Anu Confederation, which was the original kind of like almost a rebel alliance that pushed back the horsemen from a certain amount of planets and systems, and was able to build something relatively similar to what normal reality is like and hold on to it. And they've built the New Deadwood Reservation. They kept humanity alive. And so most of issues 1, 2, and 3 take place in New Deadwood or just outside of New Deadwood. And that's all their territory. They protect it and guard it to keep humanity alive. Issue 2 covers a lot. There's a lot of lore to our stuff, but and issue 2 I think covered that pretty well. But honestly, the Four Horsemen's the biggest. Like it's the impetus. They're the driving force. They're not only like the main antagonists, but they're like the raison d'etre from how most of our systems work.
That's the 4 guys you see here.
Yes, and those are the Earth's expressions of them. They manifest when a society, a species, a sentient species has enough of whatever it is. Like if they get super corporate and cruel, they may manifest an aspect of famine, like Earth did, that blue corporate looking fella. If a species is super warlike, they might manifest a version of war. And the horsemen, they seek to perpetuate themselves and become reality. Each one of them wants to be the only definition of reality. So they're against each other, but they also are against everything else. Wow. The goal is to oppose those. It's Jack Irons at the end of the day. Again, what I was saying beginning of the interview, it came out of the awareness of going from childhood to adulthood and grasping with these major heavy concepts of the nature of human experience, our history, our flaws, our beauties, and trying to look at it with a smirk and take those next steps into every new day, right? And Jack was a character who he's lived many lives. He's done atrocities. He's had atrocities done to him, but now he can't like let it go because he's stuck in a immortal body. This new form of him, that this new reincarnation that he's had, it cannot die. Reality will not let the body break apart.
Okay.
And so it was that expression where you wake up and you still got to contribute and do the best you can every day. And that's Jack's journey into it, is he's looking at these big, heavy, angry concepts. And in issues 1, 2, and 3, he's kind of been not quite apathetic, but not doing the best he can either. Kind of like self-pity, wallowing in self-pity for a while there. And
Right.
with the start of issue 4, he's starting to, his buddy, another immortal, showed up and kind of played with him, is the best way to say it, but it was a little bit more violent than play. And got his attention, and it's like, follow
Right.
this. I've got something to show you.
So there
And
are more like him.
yes, there
Yeah.
are. There are. There's not many, but there are a few. There are a few. Issue 3, we explore that. He discovered this Micaiah Truscent, the guy who would become the Tracker, Earth's top predator. His goal, the Tracker's goal, is to be the strongest thing in the universe.
Right.
Whereas Jack's goal, I think he just wants to figure out why he's here and why he's stuck like it. And so there's an opposition there, almost like a Vegeta Goku kind of opposition, but there's there's a kinship there that they can't ignore. And again, in issue 3, the end of issue 3, when we bring it kind of more towards a modern more adventure like storytelling method, that's being brought to the fore. And now we are going into what I've been calling corporate hell, where we're exploring Famine Inc. And it's going to be a trip. It's going to be a trip.
This sounds really cool, man.
Thank you.
So how did you come up with this concept?
Again, it was just me struggling, right? Like going through, I could say it was history classes in particular, but it wasn't just history classes. It was understanding this human experience, and it can be a lot for a young person to deal with if you're
Right.
greeted with a lot of it. And so Jack was my coping mechanism. I took these thought forms, these ideas, these larger concepts, and I turned them into caricatures. I turned them
Yeah.
into things I could figure out and work with and play with. And then I put that in structures that I understood, like again, comic book structures. I mean, we have an immortal superhero, kind of like a Wolverine. We have Jack, the guy with a healing factor, basically. And it was just that way. It's like, well, I'm stuck with them, and that was Jack's thing. You're stuck here, so what are you going to do about it? And that was me just trying to gestate and figure out what to do with it. And over the years, it has revealed itself to me and refined itself as it's been worked with, and it's come to this very amazing thing, in my opinion, that we're able to communicate and work with, and that has unlimited potential if we're just able to get the energy behind it to manifest it. And so far, again, 3 issues so far, so that's pretty
Okay.
good so far.
3 issues of 48 pages each.
32 for the first issue. The first issue was
Okay.
more a classic comic length in terms of it was
Mhm.
24 story, 8 extra. But since then we want to do something fatter, tell a little bit more of a story. So we add an extra 8 pages to each story, and then we do about 16 pages of bonus content, which sometimes is extra story content that takes place outside of Jack's direct story, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's concept art, fan art, thank yous, all that fun stuff that we can put in the back of a comic. Yeah.
Yeah. Intriguing concept. So what's the technology level in this world?
Oh, that was fun. So issue 3, we kind of slightly revealed it. The Horsemen kind of kicked in, particularly with Famine first, with the concept of the military industrial complex, the idea of manufacturing and all of that. That in Jack's world is kind of where the timeline splits from our own. Before then, it's very similar to our timeline. It's got a lot of historical fiction in it, in his past lives. But about 1910, 1911, around World War One, it splits because famine hits the world and seeks to perpetuate himself. And he's this extra dimensional being, so he brings a lot of knowledge from his cosmic self, even if it's just subconsciously in his current manifestation, into this
Mhm.
world. So I mean, we had full on heavy tanks and all of that in World War One. There was just a World War One. After
Right.
that, society was basically taken over by famine. And his brother manifested during that process. It's a long story that we got to tell, but
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah.
but that is kind of where the timeline splits, is around the Industrial Revolution, when
Okay.
child workers became a big deal. Machinery started guiding mankind's life in a much more palatable way,
Yeah.
and that's why you'll see a lot of cybernetic and transhumanist themes with Famine Inc. Especially in issue 4 when we're going into them, a lot of cyborg slaves and that kind of thing, because that mix of turning a person into a tool is kind of important to the expression and what we're trying to communicate, and in a way, in our small own way, like oppose. Like the tagline that I've been using recently is "Help us face galactic Armageddon."
Right.
You may not be able to win or anything, but look at it. And that's kind of yeah.
Very, very cool.
So
Yeah.
the
Nick,
technological level is kind of pseudo retro. It's like it's got a kind of almost a Fallout feel to it, where it's got
all
the
right.
50s
Yeah.
kind of feel to it. But I would say it's closer to like an 80s kind of aesthetic. It's interesting. It's kind of what Maxi feels like the design works best for whatever he's doing at that time.
Right, right, right. Nicholas Gear, hello, man. Howdy, folks. Keeping within
Howdy
the theme
indeed.
of the Western. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bit of a Western, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. It's a post-apocalyptic science fiction fantasy western. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a heady mix of genres, but each of those genres carries a certain gravitas, a certain weight behind them, a certain thought behind them that
Mhm.
people can instantly recognize and then apply
Yep.
to the work, which helps us communicate on
Yes.
layers that we can't just do through the storytelling itself.
I just love it when westerns get mixed with other genres. It just works so well oftentimes. Boston Cider. Hey, welcome, Boston.
Welcome,
A,
welcome.
a new name. Welcome. Saw on Twitter looks very good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
And
Twitter's
Nicholas,
been my foothold in all this. It was the one that
yeah,
got me any kind of notice and any. It coupled with a free read is what did it. Being able to not
okay,
only show something cool, but then like you can go read it.
yeah,
And then folks who pulled that trigger was like, hey, this is pretty damn good for an indie work, and then you're able to communicate and do all that. And I think I do pretty good on customer service and presence and all of that, so that's
right,
always exceedingly helpful.
yeah, yeah. Twitter seems kind of essential for small creators.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, look at this art. Is this? I love this, man. Looks so good. This is without color even. It looks fantastic.
Yes,
So
his line art
so
is
how
incredible.
how far into production of this issue are you guys?
Maxi's a little interesting on updates. I don't know what page he's on currently, but we are working currently on page 6 through 10. So that's about where we're at. So almost a third of the way.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, on line art, right? So the colors will have to come after funding. The lettering comes after funding. Of course, printing, all that fun stuff comes after funding. Some of the extras are actually done, like our pinup art's been done for quite some time. Our 3 pinups, they've been done for a while. Uh, oh god, what's the word? Resin figures have been done for a while. They're just not painted, which is the fun part. I get to stream that and kind of do all that little fun bit on doing the figures. The sticker art's been done for a long time, so we're basically as far through as we can with the funding we currently have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they say, every comic is someone's first, and your comic was the first of
Yes.
Miss H, and you set the bar very high. Yeah, yeah,
Well, good, good. I want people to work harder.
yeah, yeah. Of
Well,
course, man.
if not work harder, work smarter at the very least.
Yeah. So this is a variant or a side book or what is this?
It's one of the 3 pinups. So what we've done every campaign is we get pinups from the community done, and then we send out one random one with each physical tier. This one you can get all 3. You just go to the add-ons and you get all 3. So that way you don't have to worry about not getting the one you want.
All right.
But you can also get that particular poster It's kind of a dime novel cover by Illustrator Monk. I really like that he went with that aesthetic, old Western dime novel kind of feel. But as a 24 by 36 kind of full on movie poster size as well.
Okay, okay. Miss H is doing your lettering.
No, she again, she's all over the indie. I mean,
Oh,
if I was the first bit when she dived in head first like we did, and she's working on a
right.
bunch of different stuff. Very talented lady again. Mentioned.
Cool, cool. Another pinup by
Yes.
Boogie Bob.
Yeah, Boogie Bot. He did a project last year called Robert, which was a steampunk sci-fi western. And when I saw his aesthetic and how he draws things and his coloring, that's all him. I knew I needed to work with him, and he was very professional and very quick about it too, which is always nice because you can want to work with an artist, but you also don't know what it's like to work with that artist.
Right,
Sometimes
right, right.
that could be more disappointing than it's worth. But not in any of these folks' case. It was quite wonderful.
So when you were designing this character, did you uh, did you find his look very fairly quickly, or did it take some time before you actually had him? This is Jack.
Yes. The original design I had was a dude, a basic cowboy, is kind of similar to the Jack we have now, but instead of what Maxie ended up doing, which giving him almost this armor knight look, which was a great choice. I had him in a almost a metal duster. It was way too complicated to draw in a comic format and all of that.
Right,
Maxie did try it, like the first. His pitch sketches that he did for Jack to kind of for us to feel each other out was with the duster. But very quickly we figured out that doesn't work that good. So instead he does that red cape kind of thing behind it to give the feel of a duster. But
right.
then it's armor, which gives him that knight feel, which I think was actually just a wonderful layer to add to him.
Hmm.
Because he brings that extra connotation of chivalry and of nobility.
Yeah,
But it's rough and tumble. It's post-apocalyptic kind of feeling armor, so it
exactly.
adds layers
Yeah.
to the character design. And as he's drawn Jack, he's also made him more lumbering. He gave him a bit of a gut. He made him more and more unique. So most of the character design that's now, sure, it was inspired by me, and I was happy with
Mhm.
it. But it's Maxie wanting to express Jack as he felt Jack needed to be expressed.
Yes, yes. This design is very strong. It's a good design. Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Very nice project, nice concept. I'm intrigued about this.
All right.
There's a lot of art here, man. A lot of art to see. Let's go through your perks. Let's see
Sure.
what you're offering here.
So, of course, for returning readers, or again, issue 4 is a great jumping on point. Every issue is, but this is the start of a new arc and a new form of storytelling that we're doing. So, issue 4 is a
Mhm.
great jumping on point if you want to just get issue number 4. We also have a tier down the road that's just issue number 1. But with that, of course you'll get your 48 page floppy comic. It'll look something like this. Um,
Mhm. Okay, so the
and
first tier is issue 4, right?
Yep, and
Digital,
then
you can
issue
get
4
it.
digital. Yep,
Right.
you'll get with which each physical tier you do get a pin up and a sticker. Um, issue 4 digital, of course, $4 digital. If you just if you've read our stuff digitally, again, you want to hop on, that's a great tier to do it for, and nice and cheap, and
Mhm.
does help us quite a bit.
Yes, of course. Yes.
There's the issue number 1. We had remnants from the previous printing. It's the variant cover that's actually not getting reprinted. So if you want to get a hold of that, this is your last chance,
Yeah.
basically.
It's the
And
first
it's
printing, so maybe in 10 years this is worth a lot.
That would be great. That would be great. But you never know with comics. You never know.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I thought I wanted to have that tier as a jumping on point for folks as well because it's
Yeah.
been a bit. We've been at this for a while, but you're always reaching new people. Always reaching new people.
Of course. Yes, 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 yes. Digital bundle, you get the entire series.
Yep, all 4 issues, and then whatever digital extras we tend to throw in. Last couple times we threw in the Cactus Coyote 42-page manga digitally. We've thrown in a lot of fun stuff, some music tracks, concept art, a bunch of cool
Oh,
stuff that usually ends up going with the digitals as well.
oh, really?
But
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. Okay, issue 1 and 4 bundle. This is physical, right?
yes, those are all 4 issues physically, and of course a pinup and a sticker, and then you also get them digitally. You'll get all 4 digital issues as well.
Wow. So check it out, guys. This is 48 pages each, except the first one that was 32, but still
Yes.
hefty, and then
Yes.
48 pages each, 4 issues for only 45 USD, man. That's that's a great deal.
It was
That's a
nice that
fantastic
we've been
deal.
able to offer that. Yeah, it's been nice that we had those remaining printings from last go. I was able to print a little bit more than we needed.
So it says here ships to United States of America. So you're pretty
Yes.
limited to where you ship to right now.
On those four, yes. I haven't gotten much demand to ship the four issues internationally. So issue four and I believe issue one, you can get shipped internationally physically, but I was a little concerned about the four issues and shipping prices, though
Mm,
most of the time folks are aware when they're backing these crowdfunding campaigns that shipping is murder internationally.
yeah.
So I've considered doing another a limited issue 1 through 4 bundle tier that is specific for international, but I haven't gotten much demand for that, so I haven't done it yet.
Well, you can't get any demand when you don't offer it, right? So,
That's fair.
you
That's
know.
fair.
But so if I want this, I have to go for the digital right now. If I want to have the entire series, because I live
Or
in Europe, I
so
have
go
to get
down to the
this.
misprint tier. I think does that just ship domestically as well? Yes. Okay, never mind. I think you could order issue number 4 and then
Hmm.
do the add-ons for the misprint issues that we had. And by misprint, it was I've tried to explain this. There is a video. The video you saw at the bottom of the campaign page explains it much better than I'm going to be able to right now. But how the misprints are, they're 100% readable. They aren't like ugly. They were just not up to the quality that we were wanting to deliver to our backers. So and we ended up
I get it.
with 2 print runs, right? We ended up
Yeah,
with this 1,500 books of one of these that were like this, and some of them are probably primo. We haven't looked
yeah,
through
yeah,
every
yeah.
single book,
Yeah, they have
but
small little smudges, or it's. I know
yeah,
it's about with every print run, I have about 5 to 10% has little imperfections. Um,
yes, and that's what that tier is about. But you get 5 of each book in that tier for that 45.
all
So
right.
you give them out, give
Wow.
them to kids, whatever, not have to worry about them getting destroyed. And
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
it's thanks to the printer just kind of giving them to us. It's a great profit margin for us.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, you get a standee.
Yeah, so we're gonna do, I think it is a 3-inch wooden standee that features cutout art from that Boogie Bot pinup,
Oh,
alongside issue 4 and all the stuff, the pinup, the sticker, the digital issue, all of that.
cool. That's great. Hand painted figurine.
So I offered these last campaign, and it was a little bit. Last year was hard on a lot of folks, and I was no stranger to that. So it
Hmm.
took a while for me to get to the painting and actually sit down and be able to focus and do that. But once I did, it was a great amount of fun. But I definitely raised the price. This goes the last time I'm going to do that because it is a lot. It takes a lot out of me to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It can be about 7 hours per
Yeah,
figure.
producing these also, not only the painting, but
Yes,
having them made, that's
exactly.
expensive. Yeah.
Exactly, and so that's why that's there. I'm super impressed. Somebody wanted to do it already. That was
Yeah.
very kind of them.
Excellent. Excellent.
We sold 3 last go, which was nice too. At I think about half that price. Yeah, I mean that's a great way to get it. Of course I personally hand paint it. I stream it so that you can actually watch me doing it, comment on it, whatever. And
Right.
then I ship it out with a certificate of authenticity signed, and it numbers the figure, all of that, so
Wow.
that
Okay,
it's
cool.
something you can hold on to. So it's another thing that's like, it could be worth something down the line, but at the very least, you're very much helping us produce this work and you're getting something 100% unique.
Right. And the originals are sold. Right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Something for everyone. All reasonable prices, man. It's fantastic.
All right.
So let's just see. You never know if you have a little uptick, a little.
Yeah.
You never know,
Never
man.
know.
You never know.
Never
You have
know. Never know.
67 backers right now, and you have 67 backers.
Backers.
You.
Whew, didn't
No
lose
worries,
any.
man.
That's my big one when I'm doing these, right?
Exactly.
Nobody's like, oh, screw this guy.
So everyone watching, check out this campaign.
Please do.
I'm going to back it. I think I will go for the digital for now. I wanted to read this story. This sounds very intriguing.
All right.
So check it out, guys. Back Jack Irons. The link is in the description of this video. So also to everyone watching, Perfect 10 issue 3 is live. So check that out. It's we're doing fantastic. We're still in the first week and we're doing great. And you can sign up for American Bliss Father's Pride Part 1. There's a sign up page for that one. We will be launching this soon after Perfect 10 ends. So yeah, that's basically it. So yeah. So Cody, where can people find you?
All our links to connect are at the contact section at the top of ironversecomics.com. Most people find me through Twitter at cowboy_steel. I have a YouTube channel, Ironverse Comics, and I would love to connect with you folks. So yeah, please get a hold of me. Ask me any questions. Involve yourself in the process. Again, we only are able to do this because of you wonderful folks. So I am 100% there for you.
Right. Dollar Coin says buy 5 issues, buy 10. Ooh.
He
Yeah.
gets it.
Hey, John
Good
Hansen drops in the last minute. Hey, John. Welcome, man. We were just closing down. We've talked about this excellent campaign. So if you want to learn more about Jack Irons and its creator, give it a rewatch. All the links are in the description. Also to Cody's websites and Twitter handle. And I will probably be back next Sunday. So next Sunday on this channel on the same time. Cody, I want to thank you, sir, for being here, for being my guest today. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely great meeting you, talking to you. Thank you for taking time to talk about our work and providing your platform. Again, it's a key thing and it's a really wonderful thing, and I'm so grateful for it.
You're very welcome, sir. And special thanks to the chat for everyone watching. It was awesome that you guys show up every time and share this around with your questions and your feedback. And we love you guys. So I hope to see you on the next episode next Sunday. See you around, guys. Bye-bye.